guys, I'm Zed.
It's Z.
So today we're going to talk about the newest update to the data slates. The Balance Dataslate
Quarter 2, 2022 Universal Match Play Rule Update.
Yes, thank you. Generally, I kind of agree with most of these changes. As we were discussing, they changed these for the match play because some of the tournament players are metagaming too much.
Well, it's not even so much that, as much as the metagame is dominated by certain armies and formatted lists. And so this is kind of their way of combating that. And, you know, obviously I've got my shit-eating grin on my face because I know I'm getting buffs.
Yeah. Guard got buffed
Another buff.
Some of the other armies, they got hit. And some just...
Kind of stayed the same?
Yeah. I mean, which one was it that I was talking about that got buffed and debuffed?
I don't even know.
Mechanicus. They got buffed and debuffed at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so... By the way, go down below if you want to download... if you want to go to the site that we're getting this from, and they also have a download where you can get the data sheets.
I mean, you can find it online. Normally, you just have to type in the battle sheet. It
Yeah.
should be, I imagine it's probably going to be on the community page.
Yeah.
But we found it through another website because it popped up in my newsfeed. So I sent it to Zed this morning.
And before he sent it, my phone already alerted me to this one, which is funny that it did. Okay, so first thing we're going to look at is Armor of Contempt. You go ahead and read it.
Each time an attack is allocated to an Adeptus Astartes, Sanctic Astartes, Heretic Astartes, or Adeptus Sororitas model, worsen the armor penetration of the attack by 1. This does not apply to any of the following: models with a Storm Shield, Relic Shield, or Combat Shield, or a relic that would replace any of those. Models with either the Sacrosanct Shield or a Force Shielding ability, such as like the Nemesis Dread Knight, for example. And then models that are under the effect of any other rule that worsens or reduces the armor penetration characteristic of an attack. So if you're already getting armor pen reduction from one thing, you don't get to stack it.
So, that's actually really cool. So that means, in more layman's terms...
Basically, if they have an armor pen 2, it goes to armor pen 1. If it's an armor pen 1, it goes to 0.
Okay.
Basically, it's a way to kind of, with a lot of armor piercing floating around in the meta right now, it's to kind of give the power armor armies that are supposed to feel more survivable a way to feel more survivable.
Uh-oh. I just noticed something.
Hmm.
It doesn't say that it doesn't go below 0. So technically, if it's a 0, it would go to -1.
This isn't... Zed, this isn't a computer. That's not how that works. Okay, the thing is you can't have an armor pen lower than 0 in this edition. So that's not how that one's going to work.
You guys go
It's
down
not
below.
going to magically go, hey, your weapon is more effective. Because that's what you're saying, is when it goes to 0, it resets the counter like a bad program. And it just goes, okay, cool. Now that your armor penetration weapon of no armor pen is even more effective. Kill better.
No.
That's the way that was sounding, Zed. And I'm like, that's not how that works.
No. I may be messing up how I'm saying this. You guys go down below and give us your opinion on any of this. We always love having conversations down below. Okay, so aircraft.
Just basically one model per combat patrol or incursion size, 2 per strike force, 3 per onslaught. Pretty standard. Hey, we're going to limit you based on the size of your game to how many aircraft you're allowed to field.
And
Simple.
it's model, not squad.
Yeah, so, you know, kind of keep that in mind. So they kind of re-emphasized Indirect Fire, normally being a negative or a -1 to your ballistic skill. and it adds 1 to. So basically, if you have an indirect fire weapon, you're going to worsen your ballistic skill by 1, and your opponent is going to add 1 to any armor saving throws made against the attack. However, there is a big however here. Basically, Astra Militarum indirect fire weapons get to go ignoring that rule. They're just, okay, cool. We're gonna free shot it. We don't care. So.
Oh, that's what this is down here.
Yeah, basically it's saying, hey, we're not gonna have to deal with the downplaying of our ballistic skill, and they're not gonna get up armored.
Oh, okay.
We get to ignore that part of the rule.
Yeah, part of the Guardsmen's crazy updates.
Well, that's the thing, is they have been competitively bad for a little bit.
Hold on, guys. Sorry about that, guys. We're back. Kid interruption. And I also adjusted the camera, so Z's not, or I'm not out of frame. Anyways, Z did also mention that if we don't cover something in this, it's because it's a repeat.
Or if we do cover something twice, it's because it got lost in the clutter of being on the same document as new stuff.
Yeah. G-dubs, put an asterisk or something that something's new or something, it might help.
Yeah, I mean, I actually prefer them doing this way, so it's all condensed into one document.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree. One document's easy, but that way people that don't pay attention, but pay attention. Anyway, so Bodyguard abilities have been changed. Change the end of all bodyguard abilities from
enemy models or units cannot target that character unit with ranged attacks to change it to that character unit can use the lookout serve rule even if this unit contains fewer than 3 models.
Do you want to continue?
You're
better at reading.
Yeah. If a unit's specific bodyguard ability only affects a specific type of character unit, the updated version of that unit's bodyguard ability will still only apply to that type of character unit. And it provides an example of a Cryptothal's Protector's ability only applying to friendly Cryptechs, so that would still only apply to the Cryptech units.
And I'm, again, sorry if you're hearing music in the background, that's my daughter. And then they have a few examples, which you guys can go and read if you need more clarification on those. Alright, so Adeptus Sororities. They got a few, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so the main thing here is change the first bullet point under the Gaining Miracle Dice section of the Acts of Faith ability to read, at the start of each turn you gain a Miracle Dice. That's their big one that I've noticed. The other one here is change the second bullet point of the Stoic Endurance Order of the Valorous Heart conviction to read, each time an attack is made against a unit with this conviction, the attack's wound roll cannot be rerolled.
Which is not bad. Adeptus Sororities with their Miracle Dice is crazy. Mm-hmm. We got a buddy that loves the Adeptus Sororities and uses those Miracle Dice to save.
I mean, the Miracle Dice are great. It mitigates poor rolling very effectively.
Oh, yes. Alright. So, I'm going to leave this part to Z. And I'm just going to sit here and let him explain his Guardsman.
So, we got a couple more upgrades for my Guard. The first one is add the following detachment abilities to an Astra Militarum detachment. Hammer of the Emperor. If every regiment unit in your army is drawn from the same regiment, then each time that regiment model from your army makes a ranged attack on an unmodified roll of 6, it'll automatically wound the target. Now, it does note that your Auxilia and your advisors do not prevent the Astra Militarum units in your army from gaining the roll, but they do not get to benefit from the roll either. So, much like they don't turn off your regimental bonuses, they don't get to benefit from them.
Okay, and that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, so it's basically just a way to where our 6s will auto-wound. That's the big thing for us, is 6s are going to be auto-wounding with a lot of rate of firepower. Basically, it's going to try to increase our lethality on board. Otherwise, it's kind of covered in the same ones from previous. The other notable one here I'm seeing, though, is an update to the points cost of the infantry squad, but there's a reason for it. And so we were using an example earlier where I would say probably on average it's saving you maybe 15 points on an infantry squad versus like potentially the example he gave me, it was like we saved 25 points on an infantry squad, which always good. But basically, the rule or the update says change the points for an infantry squad unit as follows. Note that the cost of all this unit's war gear options is reduced to 0 points.
Which is great.
For them taking a heavy weapon, that's reduced to 0. This reduces a special weapon reduced to 0. All of that. But for a 10-man infantry squad, you're now paying 60 points to do that. So they've increased the points of the squad size, but they're giving you nothing on the discount, or they're giving you a discount on your toys for the squad. So it'll punish the players who are basically going, I'm running bare minimum infantry squads. Now you're going to want to customize a little bit and try to save.
Right, and we did look in the chapter approved, the current one, because I do have it. It actually only increases the cost by 5 points, which is not bad, because it was 55, now it's 60. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all. It means it's going to be a much more effective thing to just put on some toys and, you know, specialize your guard or make them a little bit fluffier or fun. So.
Oh, yeah. And we're thinking, because guard is getting a lot in these data slates, they may be one of the last ones to get their codex.
The general consensus I've seen online is because they're getting so many buffs, I think this is their third buff they've gotten via upgrades or erratas, datasheet updates, whatever you want to call them. The rumor that I'm seeing a lot of is that the guard codex is pretty far away. Other rumors I've seen based on codex release schedule look like guard codex is probably going to be the very last one. So in this case, it's going to be a matter of we shall see.
Yeah, that's better. Sorry, there was too much glare. I'm looking at myself and I'm seeing half of my body in glare. I like the guard. I'm glad they're getting the Hammer of the Emperor thing. That's kind of cool. Point changes. It's 5 points. So let's go back up. So the Custodes.
Yeah, and one more point on the Astra Militarum, actually. I would say that point increase is actually probably more of a point decrease if you're actually putting things in, like heavy weapon squads into your infantry squads, special weapons, customizing your sergeants for close combat support.
Even the Voxcaster, which was
5
points. I mean, now you're getting that for free. So even if you're not including the other special toys, you're at least getting the Voxcaster.
With your Voxcaster, it makes up for the cost of the unit. So anything on top of that is just free real estate. So.
Yeah. So the Custodes.
Yeah, so one of the big notable changes here is you get to change the big third bullet point of the detachment abilities of Adeptus Custodes to read troop units and Adeptus Custodes detachments gain the objective secured ability. So it changes who gets access to objective secured for them. Notably, that means you're not going to have to worry about like bikers zooming around objective secured and stuff like that.
No more jet bike sector.
No more Terminators sitting on objectives being objective secured that you can't get rid of or kill.
I don't play I can't even say it. That's right. Custodes too much, but they do look like fun. Add the following to
Esteemed Amalgam, Emperor's Auspex, and Martial Discretion.
Alright, there we go.
Basically, they're limiting 3 stratagems, the Esteemed Amalgam, Emperor's Auspice, and Martial Discretion stratagem to a hard once. You can only use it once, so.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Makes sense.
The other thing is change the Adeptus Custodes keyword in all instances on the Arcane Genetic Alchemy and Emperor's Auspice stratagems to read Adeptus Custodes Infantry. So they're putting an emphasis on, hey, it's not just custodes, it's custode infantry.
Okay. That's going to change the bearded one's stuff a little bit.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think he was predicting a little bit of change to come. So.
Yeah. Okay, so Adeptus Mechanicus.
Yep.
Remove the core keywords from
The keyword section of the following data sheets: the Iron Strider Ballistari and the Sidonian Dragoons.
So your Iron Horses and your Dragoons no longer are core. Okay, explain core.
So certain units will be grouped into things with core, and it's a way to get certain bonuses. For example, Marines.
Okay.
Core units get this, but other units don't.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so
I'm just going to kind of go through the list, regardless if there's new or not, just kind of like I mentioned. Change the first bullet point of the Solar Blessing Lucius Dogma to read: each time an attack with a damage characteristic of 1 is allocated to a model with this dogma, unless that model is receiving the benefits of light cover, add 1 to any armor saving throw made against the attack. Add the following to the clandestine infiltration stratagem. You can only use this stratagem twice, so they do limit that one. Add anything to the acquisition at any cost stratagem. You can only use this stratagem once, so another limit. Change the last sentence of Galvanic Volley Fire stratagem to read: until the end of the phase, galvanic rifles in the unit that are equipped have a type characteristic of heavy 3. And then the last one is change the CP cost of the enriched rounds stratagem to 1 CP/2 CP, and add the following to the end of this stratagem: if that unit contains 11 or more models, this stratagem costs 2 CP. Otherwise, it costs 1 CP. In addition, change the end of the last sentence of the stratagem to read: an unmodified successful hit roll of 5+ automatically wounds the target.
Nice. Which is why I said that the Adeptus Mechanicus kind of got nerfed and kind of got buffed at the same time, it looks like. Because some of that is actually cool, is good for it, and some of it, it's kind of okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, like, they're trying to make some careful balances here. They don't want to overcorrect in one way or another. So
right.
if they feel like they're overcorrecting, they're probably going to give something a little bit back in return.
Okay, I have to say I love companies that do that, because they're not trying to say, look, you can't play this by nerfing them completely, which G-Dubs has done before. But they're not saying, hey, look, this is just broken, go ahead and continue playing it. We want to have a balanced game, which is why I like the balance sheets. Alright, so Space Marines. Change the second bulletin point of Forged in Battle
Salamander's Chapter Tactic. So basically, they're updating the Salamander's Chapter Tactic to read: each time an attack is made against a unit with this tactic, that attack's wound roll cannot be re-rolled.
So that's kind of a nerf for the Salamanders.
No, it's against that unit.
Oh,
so you cannot re-roll a wound against me.
Oh. Okay, cool. My bad.
Yeah. I like Salamanders. They're pretty good.
Yeah. Actually, I have one Salamander character that our buddy is painting.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know when he's going to get around to painting that one. His painting table is crazy what he has on it. Okay, so Chaos Space Marines, it's the same as the last time. Death Guard looks like it's the same.
With the Terminators getting objective secured?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so the Death Guard basically get Blight Lord Terminators and Death Shroud Terminators with objective secured now. That's their kind of big update.
Which is cool.
So, Drukhari.
This is the one I think got nerfed a lot.
A lot of the Eldar stuff in Tau. So they removed the keyword from the keyword section, or the core keyword from the Talos and the Chronos. They changed the second bullet point of the Agile Hunter's obsession to read, if a unit with this obsession and the Combat Drugs ability has the Hypex ability, add 3 to the unit's movement characteristic instead of 2. Change the first sentence of the Dark Technomancer's obsession to read, each time a unit with this obsession is selected to shoot, you can choose to enhance any or all of the ranged weapons models in that unit are equipped with. So liquefier guns and twin liquefier guns can never be enhanced, though.
Ooh.
And then the last thing they gave it here is change the Artist of the Flesh obsession to read, each time an attack is allocated to a model with this obsession, excluding vehicles, unless that attack has a strength characteristic of 8 or more, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack to a minimum of 1. And then they leave a note in there. Please note that these obsessions remain all-consuming. I don't know much about Drukhari, so I'm going to assume that's probably a little bit of a joke in there.
Okay, Necrons didn't get changed because this...
Orcs have the same thing for the last time, so...
I'm looking at the Necrons just to see... Yeah... There may have been 1 or 2 that was added, but I can't tell. So I'm not a Necron player. I actually like Necrons, though. My wife does, too. So the Harlequins.
Yep. So I'll kind of just go through this, because I know this is one of those armies that was showing up a lot. So I'm going to assume they're probably got a lot of stuff here. Change the Mirror Architect pivotal role to read, in your command phase, select one friendly Sadath core unit within 9 inches of this model. Until the start of your next command phase, each time an enemy unit is selected to shoot, when measuring the range to any model in that Sadath unit, it is considered to be an additional 6 inches away from the shooting model.
Damn.
Change the favor of Segorok Warlord trait to read, once per turn, when you make a melee hit roll, a melee wound roll, or saving throw for this Warlord, after making the roll, you can treat the result as an unmodified roll of 6 instead.
Damn.
And then the other thing they've done is they've changed the points on the Star Weaver and the Void Weaver. So the Star Weaver is a unit size 1, now to 95 points, I should say. And the Void Weavers are 1 to 3 models, 130 points a model.
And unfortunately, we did not look that up in the chapter proof, so we don't know exactly what was changed.
Zed may go ahead and edit that in.
May. I'll probably edit that in. Alright, so the Cow Empire.
So, change the second bullet point of the Monka ability to read, each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible enemy unit within the range shown on the table below, re-roll a wound roll of 1. The next thing is change the first bullet point of the Devastating Counterstrike, which is a Farside Enclave's tenet, to read, each time a model with this tenet makes a ranged attack that makes targets a unit within 9 inches, the target is treated as having a marker light token.
Ooh. That's good.
Then they went ahead and have removed the keyword from the core keyword from the keyword section on the broadside battlesuits. So
hey. They need the core.
You didn't even know what core was 5 minutes ago.
No, I was trying to make a joke, but now I look like the joke.
My face is the joke. Anyway.
Guys, we're just trying to have fun.
And then the last thing is add the following to the repulsor, impact field, and photon grenade stratagems. The charge roll modifier incurred via this stratagem is not cumulative with any other negative modifier to a unit's charge roll. Basically, it's not going to stack. So,
that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is when you start getting abilities that stack, it kind of leads to a snowball effect, so it's pretty good that they're shutting those kind of things down. I'm glad.
Overall, it doesn't look like that bad of a update to a lot of this.
No, for the most part, it's simple, small changes that are kind of bringing the game in rein with where they want things to be a little bit more balanced, and I don't think that's too big of a deal.
I mean, the biggest things are the Bodyguard abilities, the
Armor of Contempt is a really big one, I think.
Yes.
Um,
Which this I'll have to remember when we play.
yeah, I mean, honestly, it's one of those, that's what they make cheat sheets for.
Gee.
But overall, I think the winner out of this is clearly my boys in green, but, you know, it's one of those, it's kind of hard for them not to win if they're getting anything that's on a nerf, considering they're not great right now as much as I love playing them, so.
But hey, my Space Marines, besides the salamanders here, we don't need anything added because we're just the best.
Don't you besmirch my salamanders?
They
Yeah.
needed a little help.
No. They're already good. You're just mad because they're getting better than your regular Marines.
Hey. We do not talk that way about the Ultramarines.
Okay, Papa Smurf.
Do not make me pull out Sword of the Emperor and smite you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I play Ultramarines a lot more. It doesn't really matter. I like it. There's some changes that look like it really help balance the game. Because some games just...
Better to update and put out these kind of modifiers than let the game kind of rot in the edition until the next thing comes out. Because at that point, you're going to be hemorrhaging players. So I think this is a good thing overall.
Oh, yeah. Do we have a prediction when 10th edition will be coming out?
I don't have any predictions. I have a little bit of a hope.
Okay.
What I would love to see is Guard be in the entry box and have them not get a Codex in 9th, but be the first Codex in 10th with a new model line.
I would actually like to see that.
Or even if it's not a full new model line, a kind of a mixed match of new and old model line. So something kind of like what we might have seen, where it's like, okay, cool, here's the new Infantry squad box that came out. But here's a new model to go with it and a bunch of new stuff. I'd be totally down for that. That would be pretty sweet to me. I don't think we'll get it. That I'm not going to be optimistic on that because let's be real, the starter box is almost always Marines.
Yeah.
But that would be cool. That would be a nice, interesting thing. I think that would be a nice throwback considering, hey, they keep having to buff Guard, and Guard doesn't have its own codex yet for the 9th edition. That's kind of what I'm hoping to see going forward.
If that doesn't happen, I would like to see the Guard get a Battle Force box with another army, like they have done in the past with some of these other armies, going up against the Gene Stealer cult, which would be kind of cool.
I don't think they would do it because that box set right there would be prone to Gene Stealer Cult players just buying the box for everything. Because Gene Stealer Cult can basically just play the Guard. Honestly, what I would love to see personally, if we're doing Guard plus another army,
Okay.
I want Guard versus Corn Demons because I want the whole box for myself.
Okay, but then you're just buying them.
Okay, but I'm not the global group. If Gene Stealer Cults couldn't take Imperial Guard, that wouldn't be a discussion, but they can. So that's why it's
Okay, so...
basically you want two armies that are not going to play with each other directly. So one person buying it can not just buy it for their one army and not have to split it.
So, Guard and Orc.
That would be an awesome Armageddon box.
That would be cool. Because then I'm going to buy it because I got Guard and Orc.
Yeah.
But as always, guys, go down below. Tell us what you think. Did your army get nerfed? Did your army get buffed? Do you disagree with the stuff? What would you have changed? You know, all that good stuff. We want to have a conversation with you guys down below. Like I said, I'm happy with all the changes. They're nothing major bad.
Nah. Nothing that's not workable. You can make it work, so.
I just noticed this isn't all in one. They didn't talk about the Imperial Knights.
They may not have necessarily gotten anything this time, though.
Yeah, but we were thinking that it was all of them. It's not, because the last one gave objective secure to the Knights. It's just something that popped in my head. I had to say it, sorry guys. But as always, stay forever noob, stay safe, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Take care.